What is up, YouTube? It's Kyle with the Hudson Bros, and today I'm going to show you how to replace clutch components in a Honda CRF 250R. What's up, YouTube? We're going to change it up this week from the regular vlog format, and we're going to do a little tutorial video on how to replace clutch components in a 2018 CRF 250R. Now, I've always been scared to touch the clutch issues, anything in the engine. I don't really mess with that. Suspension, I don't take apart the forks and stuff because there's a lot to it and a lot of components. Typically, I'd take it in to get it done, but I had a buddy come to me and tell me how easy it was to replace clutch components. And I did it in my brother's 250R as well. And it is in fact really easy. It's a lot simpler than it sounds. It sounds a little daunting, but trust me, it is not as hard as it seems. Today I have the Hinson fiber clutch plates and the steel clutch plates. And I got them same count as OEM. I didn't go with the OEM because the OEM clutch plates have a thinner plate for the first plate and have a spring that these don't require. They actually specifically state in the instructions if you get these components to remove the spring, and I'll show you that later in this video. Also, the first clutch plate is a little thicker, which is why a lot of people recommend one of the first things you do. It took me 3 years, but one of the first things you're supposed to do is replace the clutch components because that was an issue a lot of people were having with the clutch burning up. That's enough of me talking, let's get into it. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do, especially if you have oil in the bike like I do, I just replaced my oil. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay the bike on its side. Now I'm going to remove the Hinson clutch cover. When you remove your clutch cover, whether it be Hinson or stock, make sure to look at the O-ring and see if that needs to be replaced. Okay, now we're gonna remove these 5 bolts with springs. Okay, now it's time to remove the pressure plate and make sure to keep the bearing inside of it. All right, now that we have that off, we can start taking out the components. So what I'm gonna use is a couple flat heads and anything else that I can get in on the sides of these to remove them. It's a little easier if the bike is standing up, but since mine is full of oil, I have to lay it on its side and do it this way. If you have really tiny fingers, you can reach in the holes on the sides and kind of push them up with the tip of your fingers. Alright, so I was just having a really tough time getting the inner rings out, the springs. These little guys they're stuck in there, especially if there's oil in there. They're a little stuck, so what I did is I just used a little magnet, stuck it down in there, lifted one side, and was able to get my screwdriver underneath, and then it came out no problem. So I definitely recommend using a magnet also to get these little suckers out, and because these are the ones that are not going back in. Okay, now that we have those components out, we're gonna remove them, set them to the side, and it's time to get the other plates prepped. Now, I was told you don't have to do this, but I just feel better soaking the plates in oil. My bike was filled with oil. The ones I took out were oily. I think it's just better to soak the new plates in oil and put them back in. I was told otherwise that you don't have to do this, but I'm going to. All right, now it's time to put these Hinson plates in there. So you're gonna wanna drop them back in the order that the old ones came out. Just remember there is no thinner plate with the Hinson, so it doesn't matter which order the fiber plates go in. All right, now that those are all set, we're gonna put the pressure plate back on, make sure the bearing is still seated in there. Now we're gonna put the 5 bolts with springs back in, just finger tight for now. Now refer to your spec book for the torque on these. Your spec book will tell you to tighten them in a star pattern. Okay, now I'm going to tighten the bolts to 12 Newton meters in a crisscross pattern. Now we're going to put the clutch cover back on with the existing O-ring. If you have to replace your O-ring, make sure to do that step before putting back on your clutch cover. Now we're going to put in the bolts for the clutch cover and tighten them to 10 Newton meters per my spec. Now let's start her up and check it out. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped you. I wish that I saw this video out there on YouTube when I was doing my first clutch replacement. So if you guys like what you saw, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you could please subscribe, we're trying to reach 500 subs by the end of this year. We only have 1 month to go. So that would be great. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next vlog.